The Zeigarnik effect is a psychological phenomenon that describes our tendency to remember and fixate on incomplete or interrupted tasks more than those that have been completed. Coined after Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who observed this effect in the 1920s, it highlights how our brains are wired to leave mental fingerprints on unfinished activities. This becomes particularly significant when exploring its impact on productivity and mental well-being, as this cognitive bias can lead to persistent focus on tasks left hanging, affecting both personal life and professional environments. To illustrate the Zeigarnik effect in action, consider the scenario of a half-written email sitting in your draft folder. Despite juggling many other tasks, your mind frequently drifts back to this incomplete message, reminding you to finish it. Another everyday example is the feeling of discomfort or nagging unease that often accompanies an unfinished TV series or book, pulling you back until you reach the conclusion. These examples highlight how the Zeigarnik effect can compel us to seek closure, driving us to complete tasks and thus restoring our mental state to equilibrium. Several psychologists and productivity experts endorse the Zeigarnik effect as a powerful motivator. Proponents argue that understanding and harnessing this effect can lead to increased efficiency and better task management. By consciously leaving tasks incomplete at strategic points, individuals can stimulate focus and drive upon re-engagement, effectively using the brain's natural inclination for closure to boost productivity. However, this concept is not without its challenges. Critics argue that the Zeigarnik effect may exacerbate stress and anxiety, contributing negatively to mental health. The constant reminder of unfinished tasks can lead to an overwhelming sense of pressure, particularly in high-demand environments, resulting in a counterproductive cycle of procrastination and anxiety. Additionally, some studies suggest that the impact of the Zeigarnik effect may vary, influenced by factors such as individual differences in personality and cognitive style. In relation to the broader topic, the Zeigarnik effect serves as a pivotal element in understanding the complex interplay between our cognitive processes and task management. It sheds light on why certain tasks occupy our mental space more than others, and influences strategies for dealing with procrastination and improving efficiency. As we delve deeper into these psychological mechanisms, we gain valuable insights into how to mitigate the effect's potential pitfalls while capitalizing on its motivational power, ultimately enhancing productivity and mental well-being. The Zeigarnik effect, named after Russian psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, refers to the psychological phenomenon where people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than those that are completed. This occurs because uncompleted tasks create a state of tension, leading our minds to cling to them until they are resolved. The significance of the Zeigarnik effect in understanding why our brains obsess over incomplete tasks lies in its fundamental revelation of how human cognition prioritizes information. By highlighting the discrepancy between completion and interruption, this effect uncovers why we might feel a nagging sense of unfinished business, whether concerning a half-written email, an incomplete project, or an unsolved problem. To illustrate the Zeigarnik effect, consider two scenarios. First, imagine when you're working on a puzzle and suddenly get called to attend something else. The puzzle remains in the back of your mind, urging completion. You'll likely think about solving it until you return and finish it. Another example is in educational settings where students might find it hard to move on after a lesson if they've been interrupted or if homework remains unfinished, leading to a lingering sense of discomfort until the tasks are completed. Supporters of the Zeigarnik effect point to its usefulness for productivity and mental health management, suggesting that awareness of this cognitive bias can lead to better structuring of work and study environments. For instance, project managers might use this effect to keep team members engaged by strategically segmenting tasks, creating a rhythm of anticipation and payoff that maintains motivation. However, there are challenges and critiques related to the Zeigarnik effect. Some researchers argue that the effect may not be as strong or universally applicable as initially thought, with various studies providing inconsistent results regarding its prevalence. Moreover, there are concerns that if mismanaged, the persistent draw of incomplete tasks could exacerbate stress and anxiety, negatively impacting mental well-being. In relation to the broader topic, the Zeigarnik effect is a pivotal concept that influences how cognitive processes impact productivity and mental health. Understanding this effect connects to broader discussions on cognitive biases affecting task management and emotional regulation. By exploring this historical background, we gain valuable insights into the origins of task-related stress and the ongoing psychological mechanisms that can either hinder or enhance our daily functioning. With this understanding, individuals and organizations can develop strategies to manage the influence of incomplete tasks, thereby optimizing performance and safeguarding well-being. The Zeigarnik effect is a psychological phenomenon that explains our tendency to remember and fixate on unfinished tasks more than completed ones. Named after Russian psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, the effect contends that incomplete tasks create a kind of cognitive tension, prompting us to continue thinking about them until they're finished. This mental stickiness serves as a stressor that the brain seeks to resolve, which is why you might find yourself lying awake at night, replaying that half-written email in your mind. Understanding the psychological mechanisms of the Zeigarnik effect is crucial for comprehending its impact on our daily lives, especially regarding productivity and mental health. A heightened awareness of this effect reveals why we sometimes feel a compulsion to finish what we start, even if pushing through leads to stress or neglecting other priorities. It underscores the importance of task management strategies to mitigate these effects, ultimately fostering a more balanced mental state. One real-world application of the Zeigarnik effect is its role in advertising and marketing. Advertisers often create suspense in their campaigns by presenting unresolved scenarios, engaging the audience's minds and making them more likely to remember the product or message. Another example is in education, where instructors might deliberately stop a storytelling lecture at a cliffhanger, stimulating students' curiosity and engagement by leveraging the innate desire to seek closure. Proponents of the Zeigarnik effect suggest that understanding this cognitive bias can empower individuals to harness it for greater productivity. By intentionally leaving something unfinished at the end of the day, one can create a natural motivator to resume the work with focus and intent. However, while the Zeigarnik effect can encourage task completion, it can also lead to anxiety and frustration, particularly if the tasks in question are overwhelming or beyond one's immediate capacity to resolve. Critics or those with alternative viewpoints may argue that the effect doesn't universally impact all individuals in the same way, or that in some situations, leaving tasks incomplete can serve as a useful form of cognitive offloading. Additionally, the drive for completion might sometimes lead to hastily concluded tasks, sacrificing quality for the sake of closure. The Zeigarnik effect ties directly into broader discussions about mental well-being and productivity, highlighting the need for effective task management and prioritization. By acknowledging its influence, individuals can take proactive steps to manage stress and optimize their workflow, ensuring that this cognitive bias serves rather than sabotages their goals. This understanding encourages deeper reflection on how our cognitive processes shape not only our work habits, but our overall mental health. The Zeigarnik effect is a psychological phenomenon where interrupted or incomplete tasks are remembered more vividly than those that are completed. This is because the brain experiences a sense of cognitive tension due to the unfinished state, driving an intrinsic motivation to complete the task and resolve the tension. In terms of productivity and work performance, the Zeigarnik effect plays a critical role. It often manifests as a persistent thought that nags at us to return to unfinished work, highlighting its significance in keeping us attentive and engaged with tasks that require completion. This driving force can be a double-edged sword. While it can enhance focus and determination, propelling individuals to complete their work efficiently, it can also lead to procrastination and unnecessary stress if not managed properly. Consider a project manager juggling several assignments. The Zeigarnik effect might help them prioritize by compelling them to address the most pressing unfinished tasks. For example, if a critical report remains half-written while minor bookkeeping tasks are complete, the unfinished report will dominate the manager's thoughts, prompting action. Another scenario could be a software developer who drops a coding task for another commitment. The unfinished code lingers in their mind, and the zeal to resolve the cognitive dissonance can boost their drive to finish and refine the code once they return to it. Opinions in organizational psychology suggest that leveraging the Zeigarnik effect can boost productivity through structured task management and strategic pauses that increase cognitive engagement. However, Potential challenges arise when the mental burden of too many incomplete tasks leads to anxiety or burnout. Some critics argue that the constant pull from incomplete tasks can fragment attention, reducing overall work performance. In fast-paced environments, this could mean that rather than enhancing productivity, the effect becomes a source of stress and a catalyst for hastily completed tasks, compromising quality and satisfaction. This aspect of the Zeigarnik effect closely ties in with mental well-being. The psychological stress from unresolved tasks can adversely affect an individual's mental health, leading to a cycle of stress and diminished productivity. To counter this, strategies such as setting specific goals and breaking tasks into manageable parts can transform the effect from a hindrance into a productivity tool. Understanding the Zeigarnik effect encourages better task management practices that balance between harnessing the engagement it provokes and mitigating the stress it can cause, ultimately leading to improved mental well-being and productivity.